Welcome into this week's edition of the Climate Friday newsletter. Meteorologist John Burchfield here. Hard to believe October is already halfway in the books, and you may have noticed some of those beautiful, vivid, and vibrant fall colors really coming to life. So in this week's edition, we're going to talk about where we stand on the fall foliage and also when you can expect the peak of fall color as we look ahead towards the rest of October and even into November. So we're going to break down the fall foliage, updating you through the middle of October and what you can expect for the rest of the autumn season. Be sure to subscribe to that Climate Friday newsletter for new content each and every week. Right now, we are considered to be under good color. We're starting to see those changes, and they are changing quickly as those greens turn into yellows, oranges, reds, and even some purples. Now, we're still a ways away from the peak of fall color, but we have noticed some improvement upon the last few weeks. That yellow color indicates where the leaves have started to change, and a good amount of color is appearing across northwest Ohio and southeastern Michigan. Now, one of the bigger changes is even along the Lake Erie shoreline. Those fall colors have really started to come to life. Typically along the lake shore, fall foliage takes a bit longer to get going, and the reason for that has to do with the marine environment of Lake Erie, which tends to be a bit warmer than the land this time of year, and it keeps the overnight low temperatures a bit milder. Because of those milder overnight temperatures, the fall color change happens a little later. Out towards the Lake Erie islands and right along the water, still a little bit early on in that fall color change, but overall most of the region beginning to enjoy those beautiful colors. Now across the upper Midwest and also in interior New England, they are already nearing the peak of fall colors. Some of those cooler environments, the main reason because their weather tends to be a little cooler, especially at night. Looking towards the Adirondacks, central New York, some locations are already nearing the peak of fall colors, and also to our northwest from the Upper Peninsula through northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, peak fall color already here in early to mid-October. It's going to happen a little bit later here at home. If you're watching this on Friday, we're still about 10 days to 2 weeks away from the peak of fall colors. That means that the week of Halloween is going to be vibrant and colorful, and it'll really help get you in the fall spirit as we gear up for Halloween, that final week of October, even into the start of November, featuring some beautiful fall foliage. So how does the weather play a role in the fall colors that we see? And how has this weather had an impact on our fall colors? The three variables that have the biggest impact are temperatures, the amount of sunshine we get, and also the amount of rain that falls. And those three ingredients combined together play a role in just how vibrant our fall season tends to be. So let's break down each one of those. In general, cooler weather, especially cooler nights, conducive to seeing some really bright and beautiful fall colors. Those cooler nights are key because they cue the transition from the green into some of those brighter colors. The green pigment chlorophyll, we've talked about this in the past, is produced more frequently and abundantly in the summer. And when you get those cooler nights, the trees stop producing the green pigment, and that allows those brighter, more vibrant pigments to come on out. Now, warmer autumns tend to cause more of a delayed onset and also a delayed peak of fall foliage. And unfortunately, that can mean a bit of a muted color. When we do get warmer fall weather in the fall season and the early autumn, it tricks those trees into thinking summer's still hanging on, and that delays the timeline of fall colors. This year, though, we've gotten some recently cool weather that has led to some beautiful fall foliage. In general, October warmth causes a later peak of fall color, and when you do get a later peak, that can make it a little bit more of a short duration fall color season and a bit more muted as well. So how about rainfall and precipitation? Well, yes, we do need some rain, but not too much. Excessive rainfall can not only knock off some of those leaves before they change color, but it can impose some stress on trees that are not conducive to seeing that fall color change. On the other token, looking at drier than normal conditions, well, abnormally dry weather and prolonged drought, that can also be a stressor on trees. So you don't want it to be too dry, but also not too wet. So where do we stand as far as rainfall is concerned? In general, it's been a drier than normal autumn, but we have gotten several rain systems spaced out, and we've gotten 1.9 inches through September and October, with more rain on the way in that WTOL 11 weather forecast for the weekend. So in other words, a little less rain than you'd expect for this time of year, but just enough so that the trees aren't overly strained in causing that transition to some more beautiful, vibrant autumn colors. So how about climate change? Well, if you read the article attached to this video, we talk a little more in depth about the relationship between global warming and climate climate change and the fall colors that you see. In general, the weather is getting warmer. That's no secret. Fall has been incredibly susceptible to this change, and in the past half century or so, data going back to 1970, we've seen a nearly 3-degree increase in fall temperatures. In fact, the data shows that a 2.7-degree warming trend has been observed, and that is nationwide across the country among several hundred weather observation sites. The thermometers are clearly going up. That warming trend in general causing a later and sometimes more muted fall season. The impact of temperatures is significant. Warmer autumns delay and shorten the foliage season, and due to the warming of fall weather, what you can expect in the future is that peak of fall colors, which normally happens in mid-October, is going to slowly but surely shift a little bit later. Now, of course, there is year-to-year variation, and this year is shaping up to be a really beautiful autumn, but in general, we're going to start to see that peak shift more towards the latter half of October. Warmer falls tend to lead to a later peak of fall color, and you may remember a couple of years ago, we saw an unusually late peak, still with fall color beautiful and bright, even through almost the middle of November. So that later peak is something that you can expect going forward, but this year is expected to really be a beautiful autumn. Be sure to subscribe to the Climate Friday newsletter. You can do so at WTOL.com/email. We'll keep you updated not only on the fall colors, but also on climate-related topics and how they may impact you. We'll see you next Friday for the latest.